Hello, I'm John Bachman. Welcome to Newsmax TV. We're talking now to former Virginia Governor George Allen. Governor Allen, thanks for joining us.
Great to be with you, John, and all your viewers.
Yeah, we have a lot of them.
I know.
How are things going out there for you on the campaign trail?
I think going real well. We're putting together a great grassroots insurgency. We have support in every county and city in Virginia. A lot of support from veterans, from small business owners, from people in the clergy, people who sportsmen who care about the natural right of self-defense and gun rights in hunting and fishing. It's really, and people who pay taxes, people who work for a living. I'm hearing from a lot of people who care about their families and their children's ability to get a job after they graduate from college. And then I also hear from a lot of folks concerned about these high gasoline prices. Folks are paying on average $25 to $30 more every time they fill up now compared to when President Obama came into office in January of 2009. And the other thing that has a lot of people riled up, and there were always so many against Obamacare. Seniors were worried about access to physicians. Those who are healthcare providers were concerned with it. Small businesses were very concerned that it's a real impediment to hiring. None of them wanted to get over 50 employees because that would mean all these mandates kick in. And then this latest aspect of it, of the federal government, dictating arrogantly that certain religious groups are going to have to pay for and provide services that are so contrary to their deeply held religious beliefs. It's just one more reason why I want to be the deciding vote to repeal Obamacare. And my opponent, Tim Kaine, said Obamacare was a great achievement and those sort of things. So we have different points of view on a lot of issues.
One of your big issues has been energy, of course.
Yep.
What would your position, or what would be some of the things that you would put forth that would help the energy situation in this country should you make it to the United States Senate?
Well, John, for your viewers, understand that we in Virginia, and I've been advocating this for years, would like to be able to produce natural gas and oil off of our coast. The Obama administration has been saying no consistently to us. On day one, I would introduce a bill that would allow Virginia to explore for oil and natural gas off our coast, share the royalties with Virginia, use it for roads and transportation. So that's something that needs to get done. The other is you got to stop EPA from imposing these cap and trade energy tax schemes. It's a direct attack on coal and American resources, which would cause skyrocketing electricity costs, enormous job losses, and make our country so less competitive compared to other countries. Even the communists in China would not impose this on their citizens. So it's in effect economic unilateral disarmament. The others, I'd want to have them turn around on the decision on the Keystone Pipeline. I'd prefer American energy, but if we're going to import oil from a country, Canada is a good, reliable ally and neighbor, and that in itself would be 20,000 jobs just for that, plus a supply that'll make the cost less, and us less vulnerable to what may be going on in Venezuela or in the Middle East, and my opponents against the Keystone Pipeline as well. But that's another thing that can be reversed. I think advanced nuclear needs to be part of the mix. Common sense, practical conservation is part of a winning American energy game plan. In fact, there's no single silver bullet. You need coal, natural gas, oil, advanced nuclear, innovations, common sense conservation. So, as I said, there's no single bullet. We need silver buckshot, and you need all of those diverse approaches to make sure that we have affordable and reliable American energy and those jobs and that revenue staying here in America rather than being sent out of our country.
I've talked recently to a lot of the younger Republicans in Congress and the House, and there's frustration, not just with the younger guys, but some of the other guys as well who've been there a longer time, that they are putting forth dozens of jobs bills, dozens of stuff that just seems to stall out in the Senate. What would you do to change that if you were to make it to the Senate?
Heck, if I made it to the Senate, it means the common sense conservatives are now in the majority in the Senate rather than Harry Reid. Most people look at this seat as obviously 2012 is an important election in the course of American history in determining the trajectory of our country. If we win this, we'll be in a majority. Right now, the House passes a lot of good ideas, like you say, John, and they're like a glass of water in the desert when they get over the Senate. Heck, the Senate, Harry Reid, they haven't even passed a budget in over 1,000 days. And so I'm as aggravated and frustrated with what's going on in Washington as everyone else. That's why I'm running. If I thought Washington was really listening to people and acting on things to make our country more competitive for investment and jobs and prosperity, I wouldn't be running. But it does need to get turned around, and every single vote matters in the Senate. And we've seen it. They passed Obamacare by one vote. They passed this stimulus, $800 billion stimulus bill, by one vote. There was a 50-50 vote on reining in EPA from regulating CO2. And so every vote does count. If I were in the Senate, the first bills I would introduce on day one. Number one is allow Virginia to produce oil and gas off of our coast. Number two, a balanced budget amendment with line item veto authority in the Constitution. Send that to the states and it'll get a federal government focused on it'll get approved in 3 years, because 49 states have a balanced budget requirement in their constitutions. People understand what a balanced budget is. It's the way they run their homes and their businesses, and line item veto authority as well. And the other is, if they don't get appropriations bills done on time, which is their job, what they're paid to do, you withhold their pay. And so as far as I'm concerned, none of them be getting paid right now. Now that'll be controversial, but the American people, the folks I've heard in Virginia, they realize we need to get back to basics. And so those are the sort of structural reforms and improvements that can be made if we have a majority, and that's what I aim to do, is be focused on those that'll, I think, reinvigorate the entrepreneurial spirit of our country and make sure that young people, and there's a lot of them here today, do have that opportunity to pursue their dreams.
All right, Governor George Allen, thanks for talking to us at Newsmax.
It's great being with you, John.